Imagine a world far more ancient and alien than anything we've ever known, a time when the Earth was a harsh, natural wilderness, long before the reign of the mighty dinosaurs. This was an era when the most terrifying creatures roamed the land, creatures so strange and monstrous that they defy our imagination. From gigantic sea scorpions with deadly claws to armored predators lurking in the shadows, these prehistoric beasts ruled a planet still in its minority. What did they look like, and how did they survive in such a hostile environment? Join us as we unravel 20 most terrifying creatures that lived before dinosaurs. Number 20. Gorgonopsia. The Gorgonopsians, named after the fearsome Gorgon from Greek legend, were a group of predatory mammals that roamed the Earth long before dinosaurs ever existed. These peak predators dominated their world until they became extinct around 250 million years ago. During the late Paleozoic era, just before the age of dinosaurs, Gorgonopsians were the largest and most terrifying hunters to roam the land. These formidable creatures could grow up to 10 feet in length, making them some of the most fearsome predators the Earth had ever seen. Their heads bore a striking resemblance to those of modern-day dogs, complete with large upper canines that could reach up to 4 inches in length. Despite their somewhat mammalian features, their eyes were positioned on the sides of their heads, much like those of lizards, hinting at their reptilian heritage. Instead of coats, it is believed that their bodies were covered in scales, giving them a rugged, ancient appearance. Visually, Gorgonopsians might have looked like a fearsome blend between a lion and a massive monitor lizard. However, their reign as top predators came to an abrupt end during the Permian-Triassic mass extinction, the most devastating extinction event in Earth's history, wiping out nearly all life forms, including these fearsome creatures. Number 19. Huis. The Cambrian period is often remembered for the sudden appearance of many strange, soft-bodied creatures, but this particular creature, the Huis, stood out by reversing that trend. This tiny ancient fish is among a select few considered to be almost vertebrates, animals that didn't quite have a fully developed backbone, but showed the beginnings of one. Along with creatures like the Pikaia and Milocunmingia, there's still a lot of debate about whether it should be classified as a true prehistoric fish. Despite living around 525 million years ago, the Huis remained a mystery to us until its discovery in 1999. This late discovery adds to the ongoing debate about its exact nature, as there simply isn't enough information to firmly place it in either group. Nonetheless, the Huis is one of the most intriguing fish-like creatures that existed long before the dinosaurs. With its fascinating flat body, it continues to puzzle even the experts who specialize in studying ancient animals. Number 18. Dunkleosteus. Dunkleosteus was no ordinary fish. It was a massive killer stretching between 26 to 32 feet in length. Its body was sleek and powerful, resembling that of a modern shark, but its most striking feature was its armor-plated head. Its face, to put it lightly, was not one that would win any beauty contests, unless the judges were creatures equally as terrifying. But don't be deceived by its appearance. This monstrous fish had a unique weapon. Instead of teeth, Dunkleosteus was equipped with 2 massive, bony blades that served as its deadly jaws. These blades were capable of slicing through almost anything in the ocean, including other fish, sharks, and even members of its own species. Its diet was as varied as it was horrifying. This ancient killer was not picky and would swallow anything that crossed its path. What made Dunkleosteus even more frightening was the fact that its powerful jaws were self-sharpening. As the bony blades grew, they rubbed against each other, ensuring they were always razor-sharp. Scientists believe that these jaws could generate an astonishing bite force of up to 8,000 pounds per square inch, far greater than the 650 pounds per square inch of a lion's bite. This sheer power made Dunkleosteus a true terror of the deep. Number 17. Arthr plura. This massive beast holds the title of the largest land-dwelling insect ever to roam the earth. Its name, derived from Greek, means jointed ribs, skillfully describing the creature's 30 jointed body segments. Arthr belonged to an extinct group of millipedes that lived during the Carboniferous period, around 315 to 290 million years ago, when the supercontinent Pangaea was still forming. Back then, what is now North America and Europe was a hot, sticky world, covered in thick swamps and rich vegetation. With a ratio of pairs of legs to body segments being roughly 8 to 6, Arthr resembled some modern millipedes, yet it was far more imposing. The largest species, Arthr armata, was the biggest terrestrial invertebrate ever discovered, growing to an astonishing length of at least 6.6 feet. These ancient millipedes grew significantly larger than today's arthropods, primarily because they had fewer predators and benefited from an atmosphere rich in oxygen, around 30 to 35%, compared to the 21% we have now. Despite its massive size, no complete remnant of Arthr has ever been found, only fragments of individual segments or plates. This has left scientists with some uncertainty about the creature's diet. While many believe Arthr was herbivorous, feasting on the abundant plant life of its time, the lack of a preserved, outdated mouth leaves this theory open to debate. Number 16. Scutosaurus. Scutosaurus, also known as the shield lizard, the massive reptile, now extinct, was a true stronghold on legs. Its body was covered in protective armor plates, making it nearly invincible against predators. Unlike most reptiles, the Scutosaurus had legs positioned more directly under its body, giving it a tall and imposing posture. This creature wasn't built for speed, but for endurance and defense. Its muscular skeleton was wrapped in strong muscles and thick, tough skin, allowing it to slowly stumble through ancient forests, grinding tough, dry plants with its specialized teeth. Its jaws were equipped with 18 teeth in the upper and 16 in the lower, perfect for chewing vegetation, while its mouth boasted rows of blade-like teeth for additional grinding power. The Scutosaurus likely had exceptional hearing and may have used its thunderous roar to communicate with others of its kind, perhaps to warn of danger or signal its presence. Weighing up to 2,535 pounds, about the size of a modern black elephant, and stretching up to 8 feet 6 inches in length, this creature was a formidable presence. Its body was armored with tightly packed, bony armors, which were individual bone plates rather than a single continuous layer, offering extra protection. Remarkably, the Scutosaurus also had a small, bony projection behind its skull, possibly for defense or display. This incredible creature was a true marvel of prehistoric evolution, a slow-moving but heavily armored giant of its time. Number 15. Dickinsonia. Over 600 million years ago, Dickinsonia was quietly evolving in the depths of the ocean, far from the threats of killers. With no natural enemies, this ancient creature had no need for protective skin or even a skeleton. Instead, it developed a unique, oval-shaped, ribbed, and soft body, something that looks entirely unlike any animal you'd recognize today. This creature is among the earliest examples of complex life on Earth, thriving primarily by feeding on the microbes that roofed the seafloor. If you were to encounter one, you might easily mistake it for a sponge. And considering that humans evolved from fish, it's not beyond reason to think that Dickinsonia could have played a role in the long chain of biological developments that eventually led to us. It's both fascinating and a bit unsettling to think that this strange organism might be one of our distant ancestors. Number 14. Helicoprion. This nightmarish fish, which lived around 270 million years ago and measured between 20 to 25 feet long, remains one of the most perplexing mysteries in paleontology. In 1899, Russian geologist Alexander Petrovich Karpinski named this creature Helicoprion, after concluding that these strange remains belonged to a shark-like fish. He initially believed that the teeth were attached to the fish's nose. like a permanently coiled party horn. However, this remnant baffled scientists for over a century, leading to wild speculations and illustrations of sharks with whorls of teeth hanging off their snouts, lower jaws, dorsal fins, caudal fins, and even lodged deep within their throats. It wasn't until 2013 that a breakthrough came when a study led by Leif Tapanila of Idaho State University finally revealed the true arrangement of the Helicoprion's teeth. The study proposed that the spiral of teeth filled the lower jaw in a buzzsaw formation. As the fish aged, new teeth continually formed at the back of the jaw, while the upper jaw remained nearly toothless. So how did the Helicoprion catch and swallow its catch? Alarmingly, scientists believe that as the jaw closed, the toothy whorl would rotate, pulling the catch into its mouth in a saw-like motion. To make matters even more terrifying, the largest Helicoprion specimen ever discovered had a jaw that was 2 feet wide. Thankfully, this monstrous predator went extinct around 225 million years ago, because encountering such a creature today would be beyond horrifying. Number 13. Oiacodon. This extinct animal roamed the planet from about 306 to 280 million years ago, during the late Carboniferous and early Permian periods. These ancient creatures lived in what is now known as the US, Nova Scotia, and England. Remarkably, they are closely related to the early line of animals from which the first mammals eventually developed. They were notably larger than many of their contemporaries. In fact, they boasted the longest skulls of any early reptiles, with some reaching up to 20 inches in length and filled with numerous small teeth. This impressive skull size gave them a formidable appearance. These creatures came in various sizes, with different species ranging from 5.2 to 9.8 feet long and weighing between 57 and 507 pounds, an impressive variation. The differences in size among species might be attributed to the fact that remnants could represent different life stages, from young to adult. There's some debate among scientists about their preferred habitat. Their diet was quite varied and omnivorous, consisting of small fish, insects, other small creatures, and vegetation. Number 12. Demetron. Demetron roamed the Earth during the Permian period, about 50 million years before the first dinosaurs even existed. Contrary to popular belief, Demetron was not a dinosaur. Instead, it was more closely related to mammal-like reptiles known as reptiles. In fact, Demetron shared more traits with mammals than with dinosaurs. Its name might be a bit misleading, as it comes from one of its more unusual features: the presence of 2 distinct types of teeth in its jaws. Its dental weapon included sharp, fang-like teeth at the front, perfect for tearing into fresh prey, and flat, molar-like teeth at the back, designed for grinding up tough muscle and bone fragments. One of Demetron's most striking features was its enormous sail-like structure on its back, a trait that wouldn't be seen again until the mid-Cretaceous period with the Spinosaurus. This sail was not just for show. It likely helped regulate the reptile's body temperature. As a slow-moving, cold-blooded creature, Demetron would have used this sail to absorb or release heat, helping it stay warm or cool in its environment. Number 11. Astraspis. Once a vulnerable and defenseless creature, it evolved over thousands of years into a much stronger and more resilient being. This lengthy process may not offer immediate comfort, but it's a proof to the power of adaptation. In its time, the Astraspis thrived on the nutrients and algae scattered across the ocean floor, making it an easy target for predators. During the Devonian period, it's likely that nearly every predator in the sea feasted on the Astraspis. As the Astraspis was constantly hunted, it evolved a new, tougher head and body armor designed to defend against predators like sharks. However, this enhanced protection came at a cost. The Astraspis, now around 25 centimeters long, grew significantly heavier, eventually reaching up to a ton. This weight gain, while providing better defense, did little to protect it from predators. The Astraspis stands out as one of evolution's remarkable success stories. It transformed from a prey creature into something much stronger, despite its peculiar appearance. Its journey highlights the incredible ways in which life can adapt and survive against the odds. Number 10. Terror birds. After a massive fireball wiped out fearsome dinosaurs like the T-Rex and Velociraptor, a new predator emerged to dominate South America, the terror bird. These formidable birds ruled the land for an astounding 60 million years, claiming the title of top predator. Imagine a bird that could grow up to 10 feet tall, almost as high as a basketball ring. It had feet like those of a T-Rex and a massive hooked beak capable of slicing through the spinal cord of a horse with a single deadly strike. The terror bird's reign began long before Central America even existed, back when South America was still an isolated island. While big-toothed cats and wolves filled the predator roles elsewhere, South American mammals were mainly peaceful herbivores. This meant the terror birds had an endless cold meal of plant-eating animals to feast on, without much competition. These swift hunters wielded beaks shaped like pickaxes, which they used to smash downwards and crack the skulls of their prey. They could also use their bony heads as giant meat, and their enormous clawed feet were likely used to deliver powerful kicks to their victims. Over their 60 million year reign, 17 different species of terror birds came and went, until they vanished around 2.5 million years ago. Number 9. Estemosus. This extinct breed belonged to a group of large, early mammal-like reptiles, which were either herbivores or omnivores. These fascinating creatures lived during the Middle Permian period, about 267 million years ago. Two known species of Estemosus have been discovered, both originating from the area where the modern city of Perm, Russia, now stands. Estemosus could grow between 10 and 13 feet long. It had a unique appearance with a pair of horn-like remnants striking out from its cheeks. Its teeth were a mix of small, peg-like structures, sharp incisors, and long canines. Its body was robust and built like a cow, but it had unusually short limbs. Despite its formidable appearance, Estemosus was likely not a major threat to other animals. Its teeth were probably used mainly for chewing plants. The bony protrusions on its head were probably defensive features to protect it from predators. While there is a chance that Estemosus might have consumed some meat, scientists believe it was mainly a plant eater. This is because its large size was typical for herbivores, allowing them to support the necessary digestive system for a plant-based diet. Number 8. Moschops. Moschops roamed the Earth about 265 to 260 million years ago during the Guadalupian era. These formidable creatures were herbivores, primarily feeding on plants, and exhibited a unique blend of features that suggest they might have wallowed in water, similar to modern-day hippos. Remnants of moschops have been unearthed in the Karoo region of South Africa. This region, rich in remnant finds, provides a glimpse into a time when reptiles were the dominant terrestrial vertebrates. The Guadalupian era was a period of significant evolutionary development, marking the rise of these early mammal-like reptiles that would eventually give way to modern mammals. Moschops were impressive in size, reaching lengths of about 2.7 meters and weighing approximately 130 kilograms. Their thick, robust skulls, along with evidence of ancient injuries, suggest they might have engaged in headbutting contests to establish dominance or attract mates. This behavior is similar to how some modern animals, such as buffaloes and bighorn sheep, use their heads in combat. These intriguing creatures belong to a broader group known as synapsids, which were the dominant land animals before the rise of dinosaurs. The synapsid lineage, characterized by a single temporal fenestra, represents an important evolutionary step toward the development of mammals. Moschops' distinctive adaptations, such as their muscular build and possible aquatic habits, paint a clear picture of life in the Guadalupian era. Their presence highlights the diverse and dynamic nature of prehistoric ecosystems and the complex evolutionary paths that shape the history of life on Earth. Number 7. Nothosaurus. Nothosaurus shares an unexpected connection with lizards and snakes, making it another potential descendant of these ancient giants. The Nothosaurus roamed the Earth during the Triassic period, approximately 200 to 250 million years ago, at a time when the planet was undergoing significant changes, with the supercontinent Pangaea beginning to break apart. This intriguing species is easily identified by its shining, 4-meter-long body, equipped with powerful limbs that ended in cobweb feet, perfect for an amphibious lifestyle. Its expanded features, including a narrow skull filled with sharp, pointed teeth, suggest it was a highly efficient predator. Unlike many of the later, more land-based dinosaurs, the Nothosaurus thrived in aquatic environments, particularly in shallow coastal waters and lagoons, leading a lifestyle reminiscent of modern seals and otters. But what truly sets this creature apart is its unique and somewhat terrifying hunting technique. While it could easily snatch up fish or other marine animals that crossed its path, the Nothosaurus was particularly skilled at unearthing hidden prey from beneath the seabed. Its strong, clawed limbs allowed it to dig through the sediment, flushing out crayfish, shellfish, and other clawed creatures. Once it had its jaws around its victim, there was little chance of escape, as its teeth were designed to grip and hold on to slippery prey with precision. Interestingly, recent evidence suggests that the Nothosaurus may have had a close relationship with marine reptiles, the long-necked marine reptiles that would later dominate the oceans. This connection hints at a possible evolutionary link, suggesting that the Nothosaurus could have been an early step in the development of more advanced marine reptiles. Number 6. Plattybadon. Plattybadon, a bizarre ancestor of the modern elephant that roamed the Earth between 8 and 20 million years ago. The Plattybadon was unlike any animal you've seen before. Its lower jaw extended outward in a way that seemed almost unnatural, forming a peculiar shovel-like structure. But this wasn't just any ordinary jaw. What you were looking at was actually a pair of widened tusks, which were nothing more than modified incisors. These tusks formed a unique tool that served a very specific purpose in the Plattybadon's life. Animals don't develop strange features without reason, and the Plattybadon was no exception. When this creature was first studied in the 1920s, scientists believed that its lower incisors were used to shovel, scoop, dig, and dredge soft vegetation in wetlands and swamps. But in 1992, paleontologist David Lambert suggested another intriguing theory. These tusks were also shear-like weapons, capable of slicing through thick vegetation as the creature foraged on land. Unlike what was initially thought, the Plattybadon didn't just stick to shorelines and aquatic environments. It roamed across Miocene Asia, Africa, and North America, using its trunk to grab branches and its specialized shear-like tusks to cut them down. This unique feeding strategy made it well adapted to terrestrial life. One of the fascinating aspects of the Plattybadon is how rare it is for such a creature to be well preserved in the remnant record. Now, it's time for today's subscriber's pick. In this world, over 500 million years ago, the oceans were a vast, alien landscape, home to creatures that seemed straight out of nightmares. Among them was the Helicoprion, a predatory monster measuring over 3 feet in length, a true giant of its time. With its massive compound eyes, each with over 16,000 lenses, it could detect the slightest movement in the water, making it an unstoppable predator. But what made Helicoprion truly terrifying were its arm. 2 long, spiny arms that could grab and shred its prey with horrifying efficiency. Yet, the terror didn't end with Helicoprion. On land, life was beginning to creep out of the oceans, and with it came the Arthr plura. This monstrous mammal could grow over 8 feet long, slithering through the thick ancient forests. Its carved-up body, covered in armored plates, allowed it to move silently as it hunted for food. But perhaps the most terrifying of all was the Gorgonopsia, a creature that lived over 250 million years ago. This predator was the top of the food chain, with stamp-like teeth that could rip through flesh and bone with ease. Its powerful legs allowed it to chase down its prey with terrifying speed, and its keen senses made it an unstoppable hunter. In a world where survival was a daily battle, encountering a Gorgonopsia would have been a death sentence. What do you think it would have been like to witness a Helicoprion hunting in the ancient seas? How would you react if you were suddenly transported back in time to face a Gorgonopsia? Share your thoughts and comments below. Number 5. Signosceras. The Signosceras, a symbol of defense, belong to the ancient order known as proto-mammal, making it a distant ancestor of early mammals. This creature was about the size of a modern-day wolf, with a large head measuring roughly 1 foot in length. Its prominent head housed long jaws filled with sharp teeth, perfectly designed for hunting and devouring small herbivores. These predators likely hunted in packs, using their fearsome teeth and coordinated tactics to overpower their prey. Known from a single species, Signosceras craterinotus, this creature may hold the record for having the most various group and species names since its discovery in the 19th century. Its front legs splayed outward like a reptile's, while its back legs were positioned beneath its body, giving it a more mammalian walk. This unique combination likely allowed it to run at impressive speeds. Signosceras roamed the southern landmass known as Gondwana, the lower portion of the ancient supercontinent Pangaea. Remnants have been unearthed in the famous Karoo region of South Africa, as well as other parts of modern-day Africa and South America. This species lived between 251 and 245.9 million years ago, disappearing just as the first dinosaurs began to emerge and Gondwana started shifting into drier latitudes. The earliest mammals didn't appear until about 200 million years ago, approximately 46 million years after Signosceras had vanished from the Earth. Number 4. Aops. The formidable terrestrial vampire Aops was an ancient group of prehistoric amphibians, now long extinct. Its remnants have been uncovered in Permian rocks across North America, with the Permian period itself spanning from about 299 million to 251 million years ago. This huge creature reached an impressive length of over 6 feet 7 inches, making it a giant among its kind. The skull of Aops was large and robust, with thick, uneven bones marked by distinctive ridges. Its eye sockets were unusually large and faced upwards, suggesting it had a keen sense of sight. Along the edges of its jaws and even on the roof of its mouth, Aops bore large, pointed teeth, ideal for gripping and tearing its prey. The creature's spine and limb bones were remarkably strong and well developed, indicating it was highly capable of moving on land, despite its short limbs. These limbs were broad and powerful, supported by massive shoulder and hip belts that provided stability and strength. The skin of Aops was not just an ordinary covering. It was reinforced with bony knobs that likely served as protective armor against other predators of its time. As a predator itself, Aops primarily feasted on fish, but it probably hunted other land-dwelling vertebrates as well. The structure of its limbs and ribs suggests that it was particularly well adapted for moving across land, making it one of the most successful early amphibians in this regard. Number 3. Jalopterus. Jalopterus, a giant among invertebrates, measuring up to a staggering 2.5 meters in length. This ancient creature, which lived around 400 million years ago, is a long-extinct ancestor of today's sea scorpions. When researchers from the University of Bristol unearthed a massive 46-centimeter claw belonging to one of these beasts, they quickly realized that Uncle Jake was far from a small fry. He was a massive predator, one that would have dominated its environment long before the age of the dinosaurs. In a scientific paper discussing their find, the University of Bristol team highlighted that these gigantic scorpions were fearsome hunters, with an exceptional knack for stalking their prey. Unlike many predators that recklessly pounce at the first opportunity, the Jalopterus displayed remarkable patience. It would lie in wait, motionless, until the perfect moment to strike, tearing its prey apart with terrifying efficiency. Number 2. Andrewsaurus. It's hard to believe that something with the name Andrew could be more terrifying than a dinosaur, but this fearsome creature defies expectations. Despite the fact that no complete Andrewsaurus skeleton has ever been unearthed, a portion of a skull discovered in Mongolia in 1923 provides a glimpse into the formidable nature of this ancient beast. The skull, measuring nearly 3 feet in length, was found by an expedition led by Roy Chapman Andrews, who concluded that the animal was a carnivore based on its massive teeth. He named the creature Andrewsaurus mongoliensis, after himself, naturally. Remarkably, this skull is the only known specimen of the species, which roamed the lands of East Asia approximately 45 to 36 million years ago during the Eocene era. To visualize the rest of this creature's body, paleontologists combined their knowledge of the skull with its relationship to another bear-like prehistoric animal called Mesonyx. The resulting image is a 16-foot-long, 6-foot-tall monster straight out of a nightmare. This massive, wolf-like animal had a heavy build, walked on 4 short legs, and had a long body and tail with booted feet. Its jaw was particularly terrifying, filled with large, bone-crushing teeth, and it likely weighed between 1,764 to over 2,200 pounds. Andrewsaurus holds the title of the largest known meat-eating land mammal that ever existed. Number 1. Capricus. Capricus, also known as the boar crocodile, was an extraordinary creature that roamed the earth during the mid-Cretaceous period, primarily in what is now North Africa. This fascinating predator measured around 10 feet in length, making it a formidable force in its environment. One of its most distinctive features was its 3 sets of large boar-like tusks that jutted out from both the upper and lower parts of its skull. The lower jaw had a special carve that fit perfectly into the corresponding routine in the upper jaw, which prevented the mouth from being forced open by its own teeth. This unique jaw structure allowed Capricus to deliver far more devastating bites to its prey than other crocodilians of its time. Unlike many prehistoric crocodiles, which had eyes positioned on the top of their heads for an aquatic lifestyle, Capricus had forward-facing eyes, a trait typically seen in land predators. This adaptation suggests that it was not just an aquatic hunter, but likely hunted the African plains, searching for prey in a manner similar to the big cats we see today. Its hunting style, combined with its terrifying teeth and powerful jaws, made Capricus a fearsome predator, both in the water and on land. Which one of these monstrous creatures that reigned long before the dinosaurs do you find highly interesting? And how might these long-extinct predators have influenced the evolution of the creatures we know today? Share your thoughts and comments below.